good morning, everyone. Today, we'll be talking about WhatsApp and how to get your WhatsApp marketing strategy designed for conversions. For this conversation, I have Nikhil with me here from Infobip, who is going to take this session forward and help you understand how to navigate WhatsApp marketing. Over to you, Nikhil.
Thanks, Tanya. So, good morning, everyone. So, WhatsApp today has grown to a larger extent. I mean, no one expected WhatsApp to reach to this level. Today, WhatsApp is an integral part of our life. Uh, all our communications with our families, with our friends, even to an extent, our professional communications have started going onto WhatsApp. So, WhatsApp has evolved and it has evolved fast. Like I mentioned, it's become an integral part of our life today. It's something that we cannot live without. And the same is happening at the business front as well. So if you happen to look at the business front, today a lot of engagement is happening at at, uh, at a level where WhatsApp plays a very important role. So why is this getting so important, or rather, why is so much emphasis being given to WhatsApp as a channel? So primarily, everything that relates to WhatsApp is for an experience. What happens is today customers are not buying products. Today customers are buying experience. Say for example, if you have to book an aviation ticket, okay, what airlines will you choose? You will choose an airline which gives you a full service, right? Because the fares are almost same today everywhere. So you'll rather buy an airlines which gives you an experience. So you want to have a hot cup of coffee. What do? You go to Starbucks, right? Why? Again, the answer is experience. So it's important for businesses as they progress, if they want to maintain that differentiation between their competition, that they need to give an experience which customers are going to remember. Because just delivering a good product in the long run is not going to help. What will take you to the next level is the experience that you deliver to the customer. Also at the same time, the customer expectations have gone up in terms of with the evolution of the technology, millennials playing a very important role, Gen Z now coming into the picture, uh, with so the businesses have to evolve to cater to these people. So it's very important that these people are made comfortable. They have given enough access in terms of the business, being a part of the business, in terms of buying journey, in terms of reaching out to customer service, different things. So we'll look at a lot of use cases in terms of how WhatsApp helps us in the long run. Yep. Next slide, Tanya. Okay, now this is a very interesting slide because this talks about the entire digital transformation that has taken place in last decade, you can say, or maybe 2 decades time. Uh, 2006, Facebook had just launched, as a college networking site. I'm sure you must have seen, all of you must have seen the movie Social. If not, I'll recommend you to just watch that movie. It just shows the journey of Facebook, how it started and how it was launched and how it has evolved today. So it just started as a college networking site, and look at where it is today. Again, an integral part of our life. Majority of people are using Facebook today. There are 2.9 billion users who interact on Facebook every month. Now that's a very big number, right? Uh, YouTube again in 2006 was in beta. It just came out of beta, and Google bought it. Today, you have got about 2.6 billion users again on YouTube who access content every month. That's a big number. Uh, Steve Jobs had just released the first generation of iPhone in 2007. And today, again, if you see, iPhone is a leading device manufacturer, OEM today. And now we have got 6.6 billion smartphones which are connected onto the internet. Yeah. So, billion, I'm sure you must be understanding that it's a huge number, and 6.6 billion devices being connected onto the internet is really shows us the power of how people are connected with each other, with businesses. Yep, that's an encouragement for all of us. Similarly, whatsapp has just come in. I mean, it's at a very nascent stage still. Facebook, YouTube are way ahead of the league. So WhatsApp has just come ahead. In maybe last 6 7 years it has evolved, but still you see close to about 100 billion messages which are being exchanged every day. There are close to about 2 billion voice and video calls which happen every day on WhatsApp. Now that's the power of WhatsApp, and that is one channel why we actually want to be present in terms of connecting with our customers, connecting with our business stakeholders. So that's one channel that we really want to have in our kitty. Next list, Tanya. Can we go to the next slide, Tanya, please? Tanya, you there? I guess there's a glitch. Sorry for that. Yep. Thanks. So now this is a very important question that businesses need to ask themselves. So what's driving this transformation? There can be different answers for each business depending on the kind of environment you operate, the kind of business that you are into, or the kind of driving forces behind your business. But which one common answer for across all businesses is people. So the transformation journey has to be kept in mind as per the people in their association. Devices have evolved, technology has evolved. So if you remember, we had just one mode of communication, which was SMS till few days back. Then email was another channel of communication, but a lot of people didn't either have an access to an email on their devices, or they never used email as a channel. So SMS was a very common channel. But then now today in the digital transformation journey, you just saw how technology has evolved and taken us to the next level. So while we do all this, we also have to take into consideration the people who are associated with you, being, like I mentioned, like being your stakeholders, being your customers. So this transformation has to be planned, keeping in mind all these things. Next slide, please. Yeah. So this is some important statistics that I'm gonna take you through. So very important statistics which says that people prefer to chat with business and not talk. So if you look at certain leading startups, majority of them don't have a direct call center access. They have a chat app. You can just go across and chat with them. So if you try to find a contact center number, it's really difficult. At some point, there might be a practice where it leads to a contact center, but then it's not very easy to access that. It starts with chat. They keep pushing you on the chat window. Why? Because they have realized that people like to chat and not talk. Today, also, it's not very convenient when you think about talking to a business contact center, because what happens is you have long queues. First, connection is an issue. You need to have a clear connection. We all know the kind of network that we are currently living with. Second is long waiting time. Sometimes not enough agents to support. Not enough infrastructure to support. So there are long waiting queues. Then when you reach to agent, you have to explain the entire story in terms of what happens. So I'll give you a very classic example. One of the travel booking sites, say, for example, Agoda. The moment you go to Agoda and you're booked, you have reserved, you've done a flight reservation or you have done a hotel reservation. What happens is the moment you go onto their chat application, it asks, this is regarding what. You have to just choose. You don't have to explain anything. They get to see everything related to that booking. Then immediately the next question are pre-templated, saying that, okay, is this regarding rescheduling, or is it regarding cancellation, or is it regarding anything else, or there are any issues. So that makes the journey very easy for the customers. Also, one important thing that you have when you chat with someone is that you get to reply at your own convenience. So you send out a message, and then they reply with that, and then you again, whenever it's convenient for you, you just have to reply to that message. You can reply to that message. So it's not that now, and you have to be there on the call. Now the call takes about 10-15 minutes. You have to dedicate that time and finish it there and then. It's not like that. So 64% of people who were surveyed, 64% said that they don't want to download a brand application just to have a communication channel created. Applications are there. If you have a platform services where you are selling something which needs, uh, in terms of people going onto your application and buying something, then it's different. But if you just want someone, say for example, today I go out to a leading apparel brand and I buy something, I will not download their application just to be in touch with the brand, or if we have a complaint, right? So that's not something people prefer. 59% of the people said they would choose to message instead of an email. Today, we all know, except our work email, hardly we use emails other than for our banking stuff or very important personal stuff. We don't use our personal emails, right? 53% of the people said they would rather chat with a customer support than a call. I just mentioned in terms of why people prefer to do that. Yeah. And 90% of the people, this is a very important statistics, 90% of the people said that they would rather receive a message from a business than a phone call. We all know today how we are bombarded with a lot of phone calls, telemarketing calls, and with applications like Truecallers, which have come up, they help us to identify whether the call is a spam or a junk call, and we don't have to answer that call. But still, the phone rings. It's a disruption into your daily activity, right? So people are okay when they receive a small ping on a chat app. That's still what they're comfortable with. Next slide, please. Okay, so now with the statistics, we just saw that there are certain challenges and there are opportunities as well. So how do we convert the challenges into opportunities is what we'll see now. So, like I mentioned, people prefer messaging, but the truth is that while we know now we understand that people love messaging over calling, but are we ready with the infrastructure? Because it needs certain readiness in our infrastructure. So are we prepared with that? 75% of the adults surveyed in 2020 said that they want to communicate with business the same way they do with friends and family, through messaging, right? So important thing here is that we have to create a channel for our business, into our business, embedded with our business applications, so that we can be where our customers are. And WhatsApp is that one new communication channel that gives you the power to connect with your customer and at a scale. See, it's a mass application which is widely available and widely being used. So it will take you where your customers are actually. People expect convenience. So like I mentioned, I'm a working guy, and maybe between 9 and 5, I'm relatively busy, and post 5, I'm busy commuting. So I really don't have time to, if I have had a bad experience, or if I have a problem, or I want a resolution to something. Um, I'm not very comfortable speaking during the working hours. But post working hours, what happens is, if you have observed, majority of the businesses just close their contact centers post say 7 p.m. or 8 p.m., and that's when I'm free and I want to connect, but I cannot. Then I have to wait for the next day. But with availability of the chat app like WhatsApp, it's very easy for us, to reach the customer service, or to reach the brand, and that brings us very close to the brand. And also, like I mentioned, running a contact center is not very easy. It's not an easy business. There are a lot of overhead costs, yeah, and infra readiness which is needed. WhatsApp also brings a lot of automation features into the game. Yeah, with this automation, what happens is you can bring speed to market, and you can give an experience to your customer. It reduces a lot of headaches for various departments like sales, service, then maybe your procurement, and it also connects all your departments together, because WhatsApp is something which can be integrated with your business applications very easily. So anything which is coming in can be absorbed into your business applications, and you can process them. We'll see that in the later slides. So when customer demands a seamless experience, what you do is you have WhatsApp as an application which comes into the picture, and it's a two-way communication tool. And the best part is it is completely customizable. So the way you want to engage, the way you want to give an experience to the customer, you can customize it. You can build an automation level, like you can put a chatbot, or you can put a conversation agent, which is a contact center agent, and then you can keep improvising basis your requirement in business. Next slide, Tani. Okay, this is again important statistics that we just wanted to show. See, WhatsApp has got 2 billion active monthly users in 180 countries, which send about 100 million messages a day. That's in terms of the reach. Uh, in terms of engagement, what the data says is 70% of WhatsApp users check it daily. So if you have WhatsApp on your phone, basically you're gonna check it regularly, keep checking regularly, because like I mentioned, there are a lot of groups. There are your personal groups, there are your family groups, there are your professional groups now. So today it's a leading tool to connect with your loved and dear ones. In terms of connections, 175 million people message on WhatsApp business account every day. So while on the personal front, people definitely use WhatsApp, but on the business front as well, already there are a lot of businesses which have gone live with WhatsApp business account, and the volume, if you see, it says 175 million people message on WhatsApp business account. Yep. So this is a global number. Next slide. Yep. So here, Gartner predicts that by 2022, end of 2022, 70% of the customer interactions will be emerging on tools like chatbots and messaging. And we have already seen a lot of startups who are adopting to this. A lot of leading businesses, even traditional business houses who never uh, evolved much on technology front, now have understood that this is the way forward, and they've started changing their strategies internally. um, 5.9 billion is the count, of the people who send and receive text messages. This is by end of 2025, it's going to reach to 5.9 billion. So text messages are going to be cluttered. Today, if you open your SMS inbox, what happens is you will be having promotional messages coming in. You will be having your banking messages, messages from your Ubers, Olas of the world, your shopping messages. So there's a huge clutter which is already there. Now, just imagine, as a business, if you want to send out a communication to your customer, if you send out a text message, regular text message, it will be just a part of that clutter. So if I've got about 2,000 messages, and I just have to rush through those, I'll just go and see the important ones, maybe the banking ones, or maybe any personal messages if they have come in. So I'll just go and quickly just check that. You cannot expect a customer to go out and check every message, every promotional message that lands in his inbox. So just to cut the clutter, it is very important that you need to move to a new channel. So basically, if you understand the strategy part of the business, you want to move from a red ocean to a blue ocean, and WhatsApp is a part of the blue ocean right now. Smartphone usage is expected to increase to 77% of the global population. Today, there are still certain tiers of cities in the country where people use a feature phone. Yeah, this is just because primarily they want to connect over voice phone. But now, the way the craze of smartphone is catching up, globally, 77% of the population is gonna be having smartphones, which is an encouraging number, especially for people who want to build on technology. Yep. Next slide, please. Okay. So this is mapping out your customer journey touch points. At different touch points, how do you map your customer? So there are three broad stages: a pre-purchase, a purchase stage, and a post-purchase stage. What the data says is 84% of the people at the pre-purchase stage make a general inquiry, and 81% ask about a product or a service. This is when customers are not getting answers very easily. The FAQs are not very easily updated on the application or on the website. There is one number which is dedicated to business people who would love to ping and ask, and with the kind of templatized flow, the way you make it easy for the customer just follows the flow and keeps asking the question that he wants answers for. At the purchase stage, there are 74% of the people who make a purchase on the chat app. Yep. There are 71% of the population who schedule an appointment. So we have seen a lot of cases with maybe salons, maybe laboratories, or maybe even doctor hospitals or personal doctors who are on WhatsApp, and people are using WhatsApp as an application to schedule an appointment. 76% in the post-purchase stage, they generally contact for a service support kind of a thing. 79% of the people, they comment on a product. Now today, getting doing an NPS survey, we all know how difficult is it, or getting a feedback on a product or a service is very difficult. So basically, on a chat app, if you structure the message properly and if you shoot it to the customer, 79% of the people, they comment, they give you a feedback. So that's a very important part of information, because today business love to get the feedback, because that's how they're gonna better their products, better their services. That's gonna help them in the long journey, right? Next slide, please. Okay. So basically this is, in terms of customer experience, this is a loop. So if you look at the loop, basically there are three broad stages here. One is the customer engagement, one is the customer service and retention, and then there is sales and conversational commerce. So basically, at an entry point, when you nudge a customer by sending them an alert, by sending them a notification, or you design a marketing campaign specific for a set of consumers, you just shoot it. What happens is the customer looks at it. The customer might have certain questions about it. Then the customer maybe asks a question. If you have a proper templatized flow in that, it becomes relatively easy for the customer to ask questions to you. Once the customer gets an answer to that question, you have leads being generated, and you can try and close the deals there and then on the chat app with the help of a chatbot or a contact center agent. And then once that is closed, what the next stage which comes is the service and retention. Maybe you ask for a feedback, or you do an NPS survey, or in case the customer has an issue with the product, the buying journey or the product, or he wants to leave a feedback or give a complaint, he can do it again on through the chat app. So if you see, this is a complete loop, right from nudging a customer, right from pushing something to the customer, to completing the buying cycle onto the chat app, and then servicing the customer onto the chat app. So this entire loop can be stitched through WhatsApp as being an embedded solution into your business journey, and a tool which will help the customer ease their life. Not going onto a web browser to browse something, not going onto a website to complain about something, not reaching onto a contact center to leave a feedback, or checking onto something. So this is a loop which can be stitched together via WhatsApp. Okay. Uh, so now, a very basic info that's available here is why customers love WhatsApp to communicate with business, because it's one-on-one. Again, it's not like that. It's not one FAQ for everyone types. The customer has a proper question, and you have a relative answer to that. Yeah, and it's conversational. I mean, it's not that the customer has asked something and it ends there. I mean, the customer has asked a question, you reply with that. The customer is not satisfied, he just asked another question, or he mentioned something. Then you can reply to that again. So the conversation goes on. It's asynchronous. Yep. And it's a platform that the customer is already available on. See, the biggest challenge today, especially with the brands or with the businesses that they have their own application, you all must be agreeing that the bigger challenge is getting the customer to use that application, getting the customer to download that application, bringing them on that platform. But today, this platform is so hugely spread, so widely spread. There is an adoption, proven adoption, and the customers are accessing it with ease, and they love to access it. The best part is that they love using WhatsApp. So, while the platform, the difficult task is already done of building the platform. Now it's just about being present, being associated with that platform. Next slide, Tanya. Okay. So these are certain use cases that we wanted to present to you. So this is just to give you an idea in terms of how and where businesses are currently using WhatsApp. So there are four broad journeys, stages that we have mentioned here: a pre-purchase, a purchase stage, a post-purchase stage, and a loyalty stage. So under pre-purchase stage, if you see, we use it for what? WhatsApp can be used for what? WhatsApp can be used for giving product informations. It can be used for giving demos. You can share rich content in terms of giving demos. You can just share information in terms of what is available, in what sizes it's available. You know, the basic cataloging which is there. You can share other basic informations like warranty information, or someone wants to figure out the nearest store, nearest outlet, nearest branch. They can do that. You can share map links directly. The customer wants to check on the delivery model that you have, or he has questions around that, or simply the customer wants to make a reservation. Say, for example, today there are a lot of applications uh, which help you book a reserve a table, maybe in a restaurant. So the customer can directly do it via WhatsApp. Yep. On the purchase stage, if you see, you can share the entire catalog link through which the customer can browse and purchase there. Customer can see what is available, what is in the inventory, what is not there. You can have the customer redirected to a payment gateway. It's an external link right now. The WhatsApp payment gateway is in beta. It will be soon be available. So you can have a sales representative assist them in the buying cycle during that journey. You can send a purchase confirmation, maybe an invoicing or something like that, yeah, or a receipt to a customer. On the post purchase part, there are various use cases like, you can keep the customer posted in terms of where his order is, when it's going to reach to him, or in case of a return, a pickup return, or a delivery of the item again. you know the customer might reach out to you in terms of uh, changing the delivery address or changing the product that he wants, so, something of that sort. And also in terms of customer giving a feedback. Yep. On the loyalty front, there are certain brands who run the loyalty program. So it's very easy today, because what happens is we have seen that era wherein physical cards being issued to customers. We have seen that era where tokens being issued. Then it moved to an via loyalty programs being run via an email. Today you can run a loyalty program over a chat app. Running a subscription program has become so easy today, just because of the reach that you're able to get to the customers via technology. Yep. Next slide, please. Yep. So now we have seen in terms of how WhatsApp will help business in terms of evolution or being a part of your customer centricity journey. There are certain things which are important for us to remember while we embark on this journey. Suppose today you agree that, yeah, WhatsApp is something that we should be present with. Then these are the important things that you need to remember before you start your journey with WhatsApp. Uh, any explicit consent is required from the user. Say, for example, you need to take an opt-in from the customer, because today, if you send out content to the customer, and the customer has not opted in for it, there is a provision for the customer to protect his privacy, that he can just raise a complaint saying that block, or I have not requested, so he raises a complaint. Yeah. So generally, if you see even on the SMS front, if you guys are aware, there's something which is called as DLT, which has now come into the picture. So earlier there was this DND model, which was more of a reactive thing, wherein if you get a message which you have not opted for, it's a marketing or promotional message, you can still complain on the 1900 number, saying that this is a message which I have received. I've not requested or not chosen to receive this message, and you can, it was spam, so you can always you could have always complained, but now it's more of proactive. So basically what happens is now there is a fixed window, the fixed set of messages for which the customer opts for, only those kind of messages flow to them via the DLT mesh, which is created by the telcos. So similarly, even in WhatsApp, just to protect the customer privacy, it is important that we take the consent from the customer. This consent can be taken in different forms depending on what business model you're operating on, what is your product, how are your touch points with the customer. You can take it in a physical form, in a digital form. You can take it while creating a account for the customer, while creating a sign in for the customer, but a consent is required from the customer. So basically, depending on use case for what you're using WhatsApp for, you will have different templates which are created. Now, these templates have to be approved by WhatsApp. So basically, there is a format, and business service providers like Infobip help you fine tune that template and create the template in an optimal way. And these templates are then sent to WhatsApp. There's a WhatsApp team who closely observes what the templates are, and then they give you an approval. Because sometimes what happens is there are a lot of marketing agencies, like there are marketing agencies who run email campaigns and SMS campaigns. There are certain agencies who had started doing this via WhatsApp as well. So just to protect the interest of the consumer and the brand, they're looking at this templating thing, in which a formal approval is given. Also, the kind of content which is reaching out to the customer, because it's a channel where a lot of audience is present. So a wrong message should not land to the consumer. That's why the templates are closely checked by the WhatsApp team. Also, now there's WhatsApp is being opening up for promotional activity as well, but they still don't want to spam their consumers, because uh, what will happen is tomorrow a consumer might straight away block the businesses, straight away start blocking the business accounts from which they're getting messages which have not been opted for, or which appear to be spam. Also, WhatsApp today is a chat application which has been created for convenience and reach. So they don't want consumers to get an experience which is not a very happy experience for them. Today, people are satisfied; they're able to reach out to friends and family, near and dear ones. But if tomorrow, just imagine if you get 20 messages on WhatsApp in an hour, and out of that, if 15 are marketing spams that come to you, then you'll be irritated, because then again it becomes like the SMS scenario which is there today, which is not a great thing. So WhatsApp wants to protect that part of their product as well. All this also leads to creating a personalization element, because it has to be created in some way, like there is a customer category which is interested in your product, which you have arrived at basis some research or basis your other way of filtering the clients, and then you send out the messages to them. Or the customer has either been a part of your uh, your database, or the customer has purchased something from you, or he wants to place an order for something, or you want to check a feedback somewhere. The customer association has to be there. It can't be a mass spamming or a mass marketing tool. It can't be used like that. Yep. Next slide, please. Okay. So this is again some statistics for you. So in terms of chat app, this has become the number one chat app worldwide. And this is in the world map. Whatever you see in green is where the WhatsApp is already spread. There are certain regions where Viber and Telegram are still present, but Meta predicts that the spread of WhatsApp to these regions is inevitable, and it will happen in the coming years. So WhatsApp is a tool which is going to stay and which is going to evolve with time as well. Next slide, please. Okay, so I represent Infobip. So just a quick slide on Infobip in terms of what we do. So we are the business service providers for WhatsApp. So we are a partner with WebEngage. While WebEngage provides a platform, we are the engine behind WebEngage for providing business services for WhatsApp. So it's a Infobip is a global organization. We are present in more than 70 countries. We have more than 700 plus global MNO connects. So we have different set of products that we offer. We have 40 plus data centers. In terms of sheer size, we have more than 3,500 employees as of today. Received certain awards like best customer engagement platform in 2020, best A2P SMS vendor for 3 consecutive years that we have received. So basically, Infobip operates on 5 elements of trust. That is, we are secured, we are global, we are compliant in terms of all certifications that is needed. Our performance is measurable, and the services are reliable just because the way it is designed and the way it is embedded with businesses. Yep. And we have 10,000 and more customers, and we are scaling up. Thank you, everyone. That was about WhatsApp as a service that I wanted to speak to you about today. So we are now open for questions. If you have any questions, you can either mention it on the chat or you can just ask it here.
So Nikhil, we do have a question which you can see on your screen right now, which is, Sneha wants to know if it's advisable to just use a transactional approach with WhatsApp, or how do we go about with the with promoting a promotional sort of a message or promotional content?
Okay. So Sneha, basically, our recommendation basis our experience with this product is that it is better to connect with the customer for a transactional reason in the beginning, and because what happens is that builds that trust. So it's a practice in the journey. So the customer starts receiving transactional messages. He gets acquainted with your handle on WhatsApp. He starts trusting it. He starts interacting on that handle, and then gradually, when you send other messages, other promotional messages, his reaction, the customer's reaction is going to be better towards that. The customer is going to be more reactive. They're going to respond well to those messages. So rather than starting out with a promotional message, if the business model supports, we would recommend we start with the transactional messaging and then gradually move towards promotional messaging.
Great. There's another question that's about using WhatsApp as a chatbot for an early stage business. So, what would you recommend, Nikhil?
So, like I mentioned, WhatsApp as a channel, the reach is already there. Also, a lot depends on the kind of product and the kind of business you are into. So, if it's a product of convenience and if it's a product of reach or a mass product, it's better to be present on WhatsApp because there are various reasons a customer might reach out to. Like we saw in the use case, they can reach out for a pre-purchase query or for a purchase during the purchase, or maybe for a feedback or raising an issue or complaint, or for any kind of support. So what happens is basically, if you agree and agree to be present on WhatsApp, uh, whenever the customer reaches out to you or you reach out to customer, uh, a lot of effort has to be put in terms of probing the customer in the right way or providing the answers to the customers in the right way. With chatbot, what happens is this problem is eased off. A chatbot is based on NLP, or it's an AI based chatbot. So what basically happens is it understands whatever you're programmed into it, and depending on the customer question, it responds in the best possible way to the customer. So you don't have to worry about that. Also, beyond chatbot, there is one more stage wherein sometimes there are certain questions which the chatbot is not able to respond to. That's because of the nature of the question or the way it's framed, or the kind of training that is given to the bot. So in that case, what happens is there's a contact center agent who can take over that chat, and he can respond to the customer. He can have a live chat to the customer, or he can just come back later to the customer with a resolution. That's stitching the entire journey together on WhatsApp.
Right. There's another question which asks which medium is ideal to broadcast promotional messages to users.
Okay. Still the most widely used channel is SMS, which is the oldest, the most traditional channel. Again, the reach is the highest, better than WhatsApp. But again, like I mentioned, there is a lot of clutter, and these messages, while they're again with DLT coming in, promotional messages have to be filtered very properly. So there is a lot of content which gets dropped off at the DLT stage. Whatever gets passed through, the response to those is not very great because the adoption of customers responding onto SMS is very low. And with chat apps and everything coming up, it's going lower by the day. If you just want to know the channels, then there is SMS, there are emails. Like I mentioned, WhatsApp has opened up for promotional messaging also. But our this is our experience. We feel that you start with a transactional message and later move to a promotional messaging kind of a thing.
Right. Thanks, Nikhil, for joining us on this session. It was very insightful. If any one of you has any other questions, do put it in the comment section. We'll be taking this up. If not, we can end this session here with Nikhil. And yeah, thank you everyone for joining in today.